For 10,000 years, the Eye of Terror has spewed its ageless horrors into the galaxy, gnawing at the eternal glories of the Imperium, at the very soul of mankind itself. And for every one of those 10,000 years, the fortress world of Cadia has held the gate closed. An adamantium bastion, granted strength by flesh and bone, and seeded purpose by faith in the Emperor's holy light. But as the darkness grew ever deeper, and the blaze of the Astronomicon guttered like a wind-blown candle, the Eye of Terror pulsed, its baleful energy spilling anew across the stars. With a shriek that echoed through nightmares from Medusa to Ultramar, the Black Fleet slipped its moorings. An endless tide of heretics, traitors, demons, and madmen, whose desperate fealty was given over to a single damned soul. Abaddon the Despoiler, inheritor of the arch-traitor Horus's reviled legacy. The 13th Black Crusade, herald to a fresh age of nightmare, had begun. Stalwart Cadia would be the first to feel its wrath.
A Blackstone fortress! Without our shields, that accursed Hulk will scour Cadia clean.
Repairs to the null array are underway. We require only a matter of days.
The Magos asks for time. I have none to give.
My wolves will buy all that he needs. Alert my battle bards to prepare for my arrival. By the Fang, I'll not die without a fight.
Sven Bloodhowl, stalwart of a brotherhood famed for their courage. But sometimes, courage is not enough.
Initialization failed. Null array inert. Insufficient power. Insufficient power. Rerouting. Reroute failed. Power surge. Processing. No data. Power building. Null array deploying.
Not through the bravery of Sven Bloodhowl, nor the labors of Magus Clan, but through the intercession of a mysterious benefactor. But the respite was short-lived. As the cheers faded, traitor warships blackened the skies. The siege of Cadia Secundus had begun. The forces of the Despoiler came in numbers uncounted, but the walls of Casa Crath held. Even in that darkest of days, the flame of humanity's valor burned bright. With faith burning in their hearts, the defenders held the Chaos Hordes at bay, uncaring of the losses they bore in exchange. But flesh fails and faith flickers. With every bloody moment, Abaddon's forces drew closer to victory.
Archmagos, your reputation precedes you, but you choose a bleak time to come to Cadia.
Bleaker than you know. My adepts uncovered pylons on Ariad 6. They are a perfect match for those present on Cadia, but were reduced to null during the Fourth Black Crusade.
Abaddon. His malice holds greater purpose than we knew.
Agreed. Ruined pylon fields have been discovered on many worlds, all unmade by the Despoiler.
Why? Their heritage is alien, their purpose unknown.
The pylons' forges remain shrouded, known only to the Omnissiah. But their purpose is revealed. They contain the Eye of Terror. If they are destroyed, the Immaterium will claim all. The Imperium will be no more. The pylons must be safeguarded. They are our only weapon against the encroachment of chaos. But I need time to study.
Go. Make your studies. May the Emperor guide you.
I mean you no harm.
But you are an abomination.
I prefer honored guest. But abomination or not, you and I have common cause.
Logic dictates otherwise.
Then you don't seek to understand the nature of this matrix.
You comprehend its secrets.
I was there when they first awakened. Or perhaps I wasn't. Memory is such a fickle thing. Neither of us desires to see this galaxy ripped asunder by the Imperial ones. Destroy me if you wish. Nothing will change. For me, for you, for this world.
Show me.
Admiral, this is madness. Entering real space so close to a planet, you'll doom us all.
A good officer commands without doubt, and obeys without question.
Entering real space in 3, 2, 1.
Blessed Emperor, we're in the heart of the fight.
This is Admiral Catalia to Battle Group Silver Dawn. Form up.
Incoming enemy squadrons!
Brace for impact.
Lost the Purity Blade!
Silver Dawn to Cadian High Command. Where do you need us?
This battle is lost! We must disengage!
Coward. Commissar. Do your duty.
As the Emperor wills. Incoming transmission.
Phalanx to Silver Dawn. This is Commodore Trevaux. Situation critical. Chaos forces have launched a full-scale planet strike. They aim to destroy the pylons of the Elysian fields. They must not succeed. Reinforce the position. The Phalanx will cover your back. Remain vigilant. We have reports that the Despoiler leads the assault. The Emperor protects.
The Emperor protects. Silver Dawn. This is the Admiral. All ahead full.
Auspex readings indicate unusual energy signatures at the Elysian fields.
Explain. I need more. By the Emperor!
Omnissiah's grace, this is beyond my experience. Analyzing.
Hurry! What are we looking at?
Analyzing complete. The pylons, the energy beam is repelling the Eye of Terror.
How is that possible? No matter. Our duty remains. Prepare for planet strike.
Incoming transmission! It's the Phalanx!
The despoiler has retreated to the vengeful spirit to lick his wounds. We cannot let this opportunity slip away. All vessels, engage the vengeful spirit. For the salvation of mankind and vengeance long due, we will destroy this abomination once and for all.
This is Admiral Catalia to Battle Group Silver Dawn. We have our orders, and we're closer than anyone else. Today, the arch-traitor dies at our hands. Divert all power to weapons. Load torpedoes. We are the Emperor's fury. We shall not fail. Fire! All weapons!
The vengeful spirit is firing, sustaining hull damage, structural breaches on all decks.
No! No!
Weapon system critical, reactor critical. Fires reported on all decks. We are heavily damaged. Estimated crew loss 65,000.
The vengeful spirit intercepted our torpedoes. No significant damage.
What? What have I done? My pride. My arrogance.
Additional Chaos vessels inbound.
Very well. If that is how this ends. If we are to die, let it be with the Emperor's light in our eyes and his fury in our voice. We fight on! All hands! One last effort before they overwhelm us! Make this count!
Admiral, the enemy are peeling away.
No. You must be mistaken.
Confirmed. They are moving towards the wreckage of the Blackstone Fortress.
What? What are they doing? Vox officer, transmit a wideband message to all forces on Cadia. Tell them to evacuate the planet. Now!
The Imperium of Man. A million worlds scattered across an uncaring galaxy. A million worlds forever under threat from the machinations of cursed traitors and perfidious Xenos. It is an empire consumed by war, by the very battle for survival itself. For there is no peace amongst the stars. The Space Marines, genetically modified warriors who know no fear, spearhead every counter-assault, taking the battle to the heart of the foe. From the smoke-wreathed horror of Adeptus Mechanicus Forge Worlds sail warships of fearsome potency, their weapons blessed by the Machine God, and their crews dedicated to the Omnissiah's holy cause. The Schola Progenium molds callow flesh into leaders, officers of the Imperial Navy, the greatest fleet ever to span the stars. These heroes dedicate their life to the Imperium's defense, confronting the ceaseless threat of chaos wherever it manifests. The war against the dark gods and their worshippers is the eternal battle for the soul of mankind, for the future of the galaxy itself. It is the forge upon which true heroes are struck and legends tempered. Admiral Spire is one such legend, savior of the Gothic sector, vanquisher of Warmaster Abaddon's 12th Black Crusade. For centuries he has been lost, trapped in the shifting tides of the Immaterium, while in pursuit of the hated foe. Such travails would drive an ordinary man to madness, or into the clutches of the very gods he once opposed. But Spire is no ordinary man, and his time is coming once more.
We're out. Praise the Emperor, but I can see the stars again. Receiving distress signals. The region's alive with them. According to the timestamps, Admiral, the year. It's 999 M41. We've been lost in the warp for over 800 years. And Cadia, the hymnals report that it's been destroyed, sir. There's a lot of confusion out there, sir. And Admiral, Cadia fell at Abaddon's hand.
Then we are returned not a moment too soon. Navigator, chart a course to the Cadian system. We may be an age too late to join the battle, but revenge is still within our grasp.
Warp engines online. Geller Field holding.
This is Admiral Spire to all Imperial vessels. Rally at coordinates 154554. This isn't over.
"10,000 years have passed since the galaxy burned in the fires of the Horus Heresy. 10 millennia since the greatest of the Emperor's Primarchs fell into the grasp of eternal damnation and tore the galaxy asunder. Horus Lupercal may be dead, his body ashes, and his memory the stuff of a cursed legend. But the wounds he wrought yet gape in the hide of an embattled Imperium. For the battle against Chaos knows no end. Many of Horus' servants survived the civil wars, and they have not forgotten their defeat. When the War Master fell, they retreated to the Eye of Terror and waged battle anew. Greatest of these was Abaddon the Despoiler, Horus' greatest living heir. Abaddon took the title of War Master for his own, and embarked upon a long and bloody campaign to succeed where his fallen master had failed. 12 Black Crusades he launched against the Imperium of Man. 12 world-shattering campaigns to forever alter the balance of power. Now, as the Millennium draws to a close, a vast armada of traitors slips its moorings as Abaddon launches his 13th and perhaps final strike. As the tide of chaos breaks against the Cadian Gate, the Imperium holds its breath. Faith alone cannot hold back these bleak waters. Only valor will serve. The Fortress Oubliette of Nemesis Tessera was once the Inquisition's most closely guarded secret. A bastion of knowledge and rigor, and a convocation point for the Imperium's most trusted servants. No more. The onset of the 13th Black Crusade set the world awash with treachery and war. Though Nemesis Tessera's dread secrets were stolen, the world itself endured, thanks to the heroism of the Space Wolves and Inquisitor Zero. From the doomed hive world of Chimalomus to the seditious penal world of Avara's Gulag, the sector remains crippled by corruption and heresy. Yet in the forsaken fields of the Obsidian Depths, mutation, madness, and all their damned siblings are curiously absent. It is as if the Obsidian Depths border onto something not yet adequately defined, or perhaps waiting to be discovered. The region of space now known as the Eye of Terror was once home to the Eldari Empire. A prideful, sensuous people, the Eldari realized too late the perils of excess. The fourth Chaos God, Slaanesh, was born from their debauchery, its coming heralded by a psychic scream that shook real space to its foundations and devastated the Eldari. The Crone Worlds are all that remain of the Eldari's fallen domain. They are blighted planets, consumed by the spreading unreality of the Eye of Terror, and twisted to new and nightmarish realities. Though the Crone Worlds are overrun by the servants of the Dark Gods, the Eldari have not entirely abandoned them. They cannot, for only here can the treasured Spirit Stones be harvested, and thus the souls of the dying be saved from thirsting Slaanesh. Such expeditions are fraught with peril, for there are few more dangerous places amongst the stars. Many who seek the Crone Worlds do not return. The Eldari have never recovered from the horrors of the Fall. They are a fractured, dwindling population on the brink of extinction. Most dwell aboard star-treading craft worlds, honing their peerless minds along the disciplined paths in the hope of staving off the perils of decadence and thus preventing a second, final catastrophe. But not all Eldari can bear the rigidity of craft world life. Some depart their homes, seeking adventure amongst the stars as corsairs. Such lives are fraught with danger, but are also rich with excitement. These outcasts can be found in every corner of the galaxy, blazing a brief but exhilarating trail before madness claims them. The Drukhari too live outside the structures of the Eldari path. Corrupt and cruel, they keep Slaanesh at bay, not with discipline and spirit stones, but by feasting on the torment of others. Raiders and slavers all, the Drukhari are a blight upon the galaxy, as selfish as they are sadistic, as untrustworthy as they are cunning. But in recent days, the barriers between the Eldari factions have begun to crumble, with ever more gathering beneath the banner of one named Yvraine. These Inari keep their beliefs hidden as their intentions. Should they be encountered on the battlefield, caution will serve you well. What glories Belial IV once knew are long behind it, destroyed a millennia ago by the onset of chaos. Yet it remains almost holy ground for the alien Eldari, who once counted this now barren waste as a jewel within their star-spanning empire. The Forge World Agrippina itself would have fallen millennia ago, but for its formidable defenses, now bolstered by the Cadian diaspora. Even with Cadia lying in ruins, its scions stand firm beside Agrippina. And it is well that this is so, for the world's technological wonders have proven an irresistible lure to Chaos warpsmiths. The Agrippina sector is a linchpin in the Cadian Gate's defenses, a laboring manufactorum that feeds nearby worlds with weaponry and much-needed munitions. Wealth abounds within its borders, and it supplies the Astra Militarum with many of its finest regiments. Chinchar is the mineral heart of the Segmentum Obscurus, feeding the manufactorums of Agrippina and a dozen other sectors. There are few truly colonized planets in this sector, as worlds rich in mineral resource tend towards the inhospitable. The citizens of Chinchar are likely to be slaves or penal workers, living out miserable lives in arid mines or aboard freighters. But for some renegades, there are other options. Reznor, the last resting place of vessels whose fury once shuddered the stars. A world rich in resource for those in need, and fraught with peril besides, for it is not only sunlight that caresses the planet's surface, but the toxic emissions from 1,000 reactors still trapped in decaying orbit. Long ago, before mankind was even a footnote in galactic history, the Necrons ruled the stars. But the march of time and grievous war forced them into hibernation. For 60 million years, they slumbered, untold legions entombed in deathless slumber, waiting for the hour in which their rule would once more shape the galaxy. Now, at long last, that time has arrived. With the coming of Abaddon's Black Crusade, life stirs beneath dead worlds. The mad pharaoh Kefrek rouses the Neferu dynasty to war. Ships of living metal blacken the stars, immune to the perils of an uncaring void, harnessing technology far beyond mankind's grasp. These vessels bestride the stellar wastes of the gods of old, reuniting the sundered worlds of the Neferu in a single glorious purpose. But Kefrek's plans go deeper than mere reconquest. The expansion of Dominion is but one step along the path that will either see him master of all he surveys, or the worlds bordering the Eye of Terror reduced to ash. To the Eye of Terror's galactic southwest lies the barren expanse of the Sentinel worlds. The Imperium has only the sparsest foothold in this region, and many mysteries abound. There are so many rumors, so many drunken spaces tales, that it had become impossible to separate fact from fiction. But the feeling remains, some ancient, buried instinct, that something terrible lies sleeping amidst the Sentinel worlds. And it would be best not to rouse it. The threat of the Neferu dynasty was no more, scattered across the stars. Bellis Corona is a vital anchorage, serving as the Imperial Navy's primary base in the Segmentum Obscurus. Over the millennia, its importance has only grown, and it now acts as the Imperium's administrative capital for the entire Segmentum. In the prelude of the 13th Black Crusade, the arch-traitor Typhus descended on Bellis Corona, spreading a devastating contagion named in whispers as the Plague of Unbelief. Despite Typhus' assault and the loss of billions of lives, the sector held firm. But in recent days, Psychers stationed in Bellis Corona have suffered total collapse, their minds torn asunder by some strange and terrible shadow moving through the Immaterium. This can only bode ill. The Tyranids, the great devourer. In all the stars, there has never been a Xenos race more inimical to the survival of mankind. Indeed, they are the bane of all other life. Their origins are but poorly understood, the stuff of rumor and supposition and nightmare. The Adepts of Mars believe that a single unknowable consciousness guides the Hive Fleets about their voracious purpose. This consciousness knows only unquenchable hunger. Hive ships serve as synapse nodes, spreading the influence of the Tyranid hive mind across the stars. Such is the hive mind's suffocating will that the warp is distorted for light years around. Confusion and terror spread before the Hive Fleets advance, as dreams darken and madness spreads. As the Hive Fleets advance, the suffocating embrace quenches the Emperor's light and drowns doomed worlds in psychic shadow. But the greatest threat comes from within. Foul creatures known as Gene Stealers infiltrate unvigilant worlds. A patriarch arises from the population's subverted flesh and projects a psychic beacon to draw the Hive Fleet ever closer. As the Gene Stealer cult grows in power, they emerge from the shadows of their benighted world. Civil war rages, shaking the planet asunder. Then the skies darken with spores and the Hive Fleet's voracious tendrils. The cultists exult at the fulfillment of prophecy and their ascension into the light. Their delusions die with them. There are many Hive Fleets, each but a facet of the immeasurable Tyranid threat. Leviathan is the greatest, and has wrought ruin on a scale never before witnessed. Though the great rift arising from Cadia's ruin has severed many of Leviathan's tendrils, many more remain. Even now, one is surging towards the Eye of Terror. And Hive Fleet Leviathan, devourer of 1,000 worlds, has been driven back into the void. With warp storms rendering astropathic communications erratic, Segmentum Obscura's High Command continued experiencing difficulty coordinating its forces. Imperial commanders were advised that communications received from distant sources were not to be trusted. Scattered reports indicated that, in addition to Chaos incursions, Scarus nurtured an increasing greenskin menace. Eventually, High Command took this threat seriously. They acted too late. What would become known as the Green Crusade had grown from a few scattered and disorganized tribes to a mighty war that threatened to overwhelm the Imperium's embattled holdings. With the capture of Forge World Mordax Prime, the Green Crusade's momentum redoubled. Survivors from the rechristened Mordaka Prime report seeing hundreds of Gargants being fashioned from the debris, and skies thick with the choking black smoke of Orc cruisers. It can only be a matter of time before other worlds share Mordax's fate. Orcs are amongst the deadliest of the Xenos races. Multitudinous, belligerent, and possessed of brutal cunning, they spread across the stars like a green tide. Even in the war-riven sectors around the Eye of Terror, forever beset by chaos, they rank amongst the greatest threats. As battle raged between the Imperium and the dread forces of Chaos, the Orcs gained a foothold upon ravaged worlds, using them as staging areas from which they could slingshot deeper into Imperial territory. Orc technology is ramshackle, but terrifyingly effective. Combining mismatched components, scavenged gear, and intuitive leaps to forge weapon systems whose inner workings baffle the most experienced of the Imperium's adepts, but lack for nothing in sheer, unbridled firepower. In much the same way, an Orc warlord can take a multitude of squabbling clans and forge them into an unstoppable army. Such a war has the sheer, unbridled might necessary to conquer the stars themselves, leaving naught but rubble in its wake. As its momentum grows, so do its numbers grow, swollen by green skins drawn to the promise of bloodlust, teeth, and loot. The Green Crusade, once an unstoppable tide of war, is all but washed away. A harsh realm of perpetual gloom that breeds a harsh people. With a dark and polluted sky, Medusa's sun rarely reaches the planet's surface. It is a world of highly unstable geology, with earthquakes and volcanic eruptions constantly reshaping the mountains and seas. The world's resources have long been mined to exhaustion, plundered by the Telstarax, an ancient space station that hangs in orbit to this day. Medusa, then, is a world trapped in the past, marred by old wounds and burdened with pride and fading glory. Yet it remains a powerful symbol, and a weighty prize to he who would claim it. Caliban, a world torn asunder by betrayal, and haunted by the treacheries of the ancient past. What remains is shrouded in mystery, and shielded from the prying eyes of the Inquisition by the Dark Angels who once called this world home. But war has a way of bringing secrets to light. As conflict rages across the sector, who knows what glimmers of truth might flare beneath the light of dying stars. The Skelos subsector is located to the galactic west of the Eye of Terror. Its capital planet, Skelos, is a feral world, and was once the homeworld of the Sons of Malice. Once loyal space marines, they turned on the Imperium in the years leading to the 13th Black Crusade. The original name of the Sons of Malice has been lost to Imperial record, but it is speculated that they were one of the 20 chapters of the Astartes Precis, a founding created with the express purpose of safeguarding the region surrounding the Eye of Terror. The cold and unforgiving wastes of Skelos provide the Sons of Malice no shortage of barbaric recruits. Indeed, the Sons' foul religious practices trace their origins to those of the tribesmen from which they sprang. A scouring, conducted by the Cadian 331st, was thought to have ended these grisly traditions. Certainly, the natives were thought exterminated, and the Sons of Malice driven off. But rumors have surfaced suggesting that the world is not so empty as was believed. It would seem that the Sons of Malice still stake a claim to this miserable planet. They will surely do whatever they must to make it theirs once more. With the Emperor's foremost son as Lord Commander of the Imperium, a new hope stirred. The Eidolon sector lies at the heart of the Eye of Terror, at the point where reality bleeds away into the formless tides of the Immaterium. Stronghold of the Despoiler, headwater of every Black Crusade, there is no mortal law here that is not imposed by cruelty, and no physical law beyond the whim of the Dark Gods. The Plague Planet, home of Mortarion and his Death Guard traitor legion. This is a world of 10,000 contagions, where skies weep with pus and seas teem with disease. Sortiaris is the current homeworld of the Thousand Suns traitor legion. ringed by the screaming souls of the betrayed dead and blasted by the tides of the warp. It is a planet no sane man would tread without cause, or at least without a numberless army at his back. Oliensis, throne of decadence, and bane of many a righteous soul. The world is a living perversion, a deathless monument to the pursuit of pleasure above all else. Though the world's origins are argued over by the adepts of Terra, it is known that at least one Space Marine chapter met its demise on the Oliensis surface. Reports suggest that those who fall to Oliensis' embrace are reborn as blasphemous mirrors of their prior selves, shackled to the will of Slaanesh. Drakasi, Khorne's slaughter pit. Only the strongest survive the crucible of its arenas, and then only until the favor of the gods turns against them once more. Eidolon itself was once an Eldari world, but now lies shackled by the madness of chaos, with an empire dedicated to each of the chaos powers constantly vying with the others for dominance. It is said that there are more ways to die on Eidolon than anywhere else. Though as no one ever returns, this can be considered little more than rumor. At long last, at the cost of countless millions of lives, Abaddon the Despoiler finally met his end, and a debt owed since the darkest days of the Horus Heresy was at last repaid. But his death could not undo the legacy of devastation he had wrought. The Imperium would face other battles against the Dark Gods. This was no ending, but a new beginning. Cadia had fallen, but its name and legend lived on.
Warriors of mankind, the Emperor has tested us, and we have not been found wanting. By his will and our faithfulness, we have journeyed through darkness, through fire, and now emerge into the brilliant light of a new dawn. But that light shines only so long as we keep it fed. Through our sacrifice, through the valor of the Imperial Navy, mankind shall endure. There is no peace in these stars, only a crucible of war in which our faith is forever tested. Our service we owe to our comrades. Our lives we spend for the Imperium. And our souls, now and forevermore, belong to the Emperor.